So the now infamous note that Donald Trump sent to Jeffrey Epstein on his birthday has gone around the whole world. But it seems, unfortunately, that there's something almost everybody and certainly every news outlet has missed in terms of the significance of this note and what we can really learn from it. You see, there's a part of the note that is being quoted everywhere, which is the very end of the note, in which Donald Trump says, and I quote, "Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Okay, that is certainly a startling find, and I'll talk more about that later. But there's actually more to it. There's actually more in the note that is not reported very much, that tells us a great deal about the relationship that Trump had with Epstein, and the kind of friendship, the kind of connection that they had, and the kind of things they got up to. So I'm going to go through the whole of that note, just after a quick word about this channel. I hope you're enjoying the video. As a psychiatrist who's fascinated by the worlds of politics and economics and philosophy, I love making these videos, and if you'd like to see more of them, then please do like and subscribe and comment in this video. What you'll find is that there's a beautiful community growing up around this channel. We're all going through a national and international trauma right now because of what's happening and where our leaders are taking us. And in this channel, you'll find people honestly sharing their situation and their distress, and other people responding with kindness, empathy, and compassion. So please join this wonderful community that we're forming, join in the comments and the dialogue that's happening. Now, as I say, the note that Trump sent to Epstein on his birthday was actually quite a sizable amount of text. It wasn't just that line about every day being another wonderful secret. It was a whole series of dialogues between Trump and Epstein. So Trump basically wrote a little passage about a conversation between Trump and Epstein. So he sort of wrote it down as if it was text in a script, in a movie script or something, between the two of them. This was his way of, really conveying a deep, heartfelt message to his close chum, Epstein. And in that he wrote some lines for him, and he wrote some lines for his friend Jeffrey. And this is what he wrote. First of all, he writes, from Jeffrey says this: "There must be more to life than having everything." To which Donald responds, "Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is." Then Jeffrey says, "Nor will I, since I also know what it is." Then Donald says, "We have certain things in common, Jeffrey." And then Jeffrey responds, "Yes, we do, come to think of it." Then Donald responds, "Enigmas never die, have you noticed that?" To which Jeffrey responds, "As a matter of fact, that was clear to me the last time I saw you." And then Donald responds finally, "A pal is a wonderful thing. Happy birthday, and may every day be another wonderful secret." Now, what does that tell us about their relationship? They talk about enigmas. They talk about secrets. They talk about the fact that there must be more to life than having everything. And these are two men who are effectively billionaires at that point. They're extremely rich men. They're some of the richest men in the world. And they are, you can see from this note, pretty much best pals. In fact, that was reported by others previously who've studied Epstein and Trump and found actually they both described themselves as being best mates at one point. Now, these are two men who have everything. So they asked the question to each other: there must be more to life than having everything. And then, in this sort of pretend dialogue that Trump has scripted out, Trump says to Epstein, "Yes, there is, but I won't tell you what it is." And Jeffrey then responds, Epstein responds, "Yes, I also know what it is." So there's secrets that they're hiding. They're talking openly about hiding secrets, about knowing what you can have even after you have everything. And this is the thing here, because what is it that you can have even after you have everything? You see, because money can buy you everything material that you want. It can even buy you, adult women in terms of prostitution and things like that. So all of these things count as the everything that they already have. So what can you have after you have everything? Well, the one thing that you can't have, even if you have all the money in the world, is the most heinous thing of all, is children. And that seems to be what they're suggesting here. What can you have even if you don't have everything? Well, we're not going to say it openly, but you know what I mean. I know what it is, and you know what it is. What can you have if you don't have everything? Then they talk about enigmas. Have you noticed that enigmas never die? We have certain things in common, Jeffrey. So at the very least, we know that they are talking about things that cannot be said. They are sharing things that cannot be shared out in the open, but they're hinting at them, they're noticing them about each other, and then Trump ends by talking about every day being a wonderful secret. What I think we can conclude unequivocally from this is that Trump, at the very least, knew of Jeffrey Epstein's heinous activities. He knew what was going on with Jeffrey Epstein in his life. Nobody can read this and then look at the charge sheet against Jeffrey Epstein, the things he was charged and convicted of. Nobody can see those things and then see the note from Trump and not think that Trump knew everything that was going on. And yet he retained the friendship with this man for a long time. We can't deduce for sure that they were both doing the same things, that the child abuse that Epstein engaged in, Trump also engaged in. Maybe he did, maybe he didn't, we don't know. But what we can at least surmise from this, and what, as I say, people have been missing in their analysis of this, is that this makes clear the fact that Trump actually knew everything about Epstein's predilections. He even said in an interview, yes, and this is recorded and many of you will have heard this, he said openly that yes, I know that Epstein likes the women just like me, and he also has a particular preference for especially younger women. So he knew everything about Epstein's predilection, and you know what? It's apparent that he didn't have a problem with it. He was okay with that. He knew this man was a serial abuser of children, and he was all right with that. And he was all right to continue a friendship with this man. Let's not forget, he even toyed with the possibility of pardoning Ghislaine Maxwell, right? Somebody who was convicted of being an accomplice, a recruiter of women, of girls, of children, a procurer of children to Jeffrey Epstein. So at the very least we know that this club, this exclusive club of extremely rich men who have everything, knew that there was a secret in the midst of all of that. Something that even rich people couldn't get their hands on, but Epstein could. And at the very least that means that Trump knew about it. Now think about that for a minute. Is there anybody in your life, and I say this to pretty much every listener of this channel, is there anybody in your life who you know is an abuser of children? Is there anybody in your social life, in your social circle, in your circle, in your friends and relatives, who you know is an abuser of children and with whom you continue to maintain a relationship? Is there anybody like that? No, I'm sure there isn't, right? Certainly every decent person watching this channel, the answer to that will be clearly no. So imagine what kind of a moral line you have crossed. How lacking in basic morality you must be if you maintain a friendship, a close, strong friendship with somebody who you know is doing these things. Not only that, you are joking about it with them. You are winking about it with them. You're making some banter with them about it. You're writing it down on a card. Oh, it's your little secret. I know all about it. Isn't it wonderful that we can have this wonderful secret, an enigma? So if you read the whole note in context, it takes it even deeper than just that last line. It tells us that Trump knew and that he didn't blink. It didn't put him off from this deep friendship. In fact, the only thing that ended the friendship between them was the fact that they both tried to buy the same property. There was one property over in Florida, apparently, that they both bid for, and in the end, one of them got, I think it was Epstein who got it. And so Trump was disgusted and furious with him for that. It all came down to money in the end, and one of them won the race. But their friendship didn't break up because of Trump knowing what Epstein was up to in his depraved sex life. The friendship broke up over a real estate deal. So this tells us a lot about Donald Trump and the moral and ethical boundaries around him. It tells us that they're virtually non-existent. There's almost nothing you can do that will put you in the bad books of Donald Trump in terms of how you treat other people. Nothing. This is why he's been so happy and so easy about making friendships with people like Putin and Xi Jinping. You know, all autocrats to him can be okay because he actually knows that they're committing murders and engaging in heinous crimes all the time, but it doesn't bother him. So his moral compass is basically non-existent. It's shriveled up. He doesn't have any boundaries like the rest of us do. And this note really shows us that in black and white terms. He's advertising in neon lights for the world to see now that it's been revealed, which is why, of course, he tried to sue the Wall Street Journal and he's trying to sue Rupert Murdoch over this, because it really does reveal something of great depth about Donald Trump. The fact that there is no actual limit to the depravity of his morality. now we know for sure about the utter absence of Donald Trump's moral code. I hope you liked the video. I hope you also can join me with more of my content that I'm aiming to make over the coming months and years. You see, this time around, what we're experiencing in this administration is a global trauma, and the people going through it have been asking, how can we support ourselves? How can we learn and grow and share together through this process? So I've started to write a series of ebooks. That's together with my whole team. Once a month, we're going to produce an ebook to help us understand better the psychology of the people around us and the systems we're in, as well as our own psychology too, to help us navigate this increasingly confusing and disorientating world we find ourselves in. You'll be able to find those books on russellsbooks.com. That's russellsbooks.com. As soon as you go there, you'll be able to see the growing catalogue of books and hopefully buy any of them at any point. In addition, I hope you can subscribe to my e-newsletter. See, there's a link in the description of this video and also the description of the channel. And if you go there, you'll be able to fill out a form. Once you've completed the form, you'll then be able to get subscribed to my e-newsletter. And that way you can always be kept up to date about the content I'm producing. You see, the fact is that this platform, as well as all platforms, are owned by a very small number of oligarchs. And at any point, they might decide to shut down a channel like this. And if they do that, then, well, it's going to be hard for us to keep connecting. So if you sign up for my e-newsletter, that way you'll be able to make sure that you'll be informed about my content wherever it's delivered and wherever it lands. Finally, I hope you might also consider becoming a member of the channel. If you do, you'll get these ebooks for free every month. So all the ebooks I produce go free to my members who join the channel every month. Also, you can get priority response to comments, and there's also a members-only chat page for higher level members that we engage in regularly to sort of learn, share and support one another. As I say, this is a difficult time, it's a traumatic time in history, so many of us need support from each other. I'm hoping each of these things can help all of us create a better tomorrow together. Thank you.